Welcome to OG Foundation, capital of the sovereign state of Vlodium. I'm your host, Sovereign of Vlodium, and in this episode, I am working on connecting this arch over to that doorway. Hopefully I can do that this week. So, what I've done so far is prepped the sidewalls. I did a lot of prep on the metal, shaping the metal. Then got mortar on the two sidewalls, put up that rebar sidewall, a number of rebar over there, and basically prepped it as far as I'm happy with to get it over to there. And then got some more coverage on this flat part over here where that's a barrel thing, so going from the top of it over to there to make that flat. So a bucket over there, and a bucket down, or yeah, there's actually two buckets on there, one there and one down there. So pushing up on that side, and the sidewalls need to be in for me to be able to put all my weight out there for the next one. So with the sidewalls here, at the end of the day tomorrow, those will be dry enough where I can get a second coat on the sidewalls and that right there, which is just a single coat. And then the next day, I'll push on forward. And meanwhile, I can do stuff over there. So slow and steady, but that's it for Saturday. 8 a.m. Sunday morning, ready for mortar. You can see from down here what that ended up looking like yesterday. Basically just throwing mortar at the wall, especially up there. So there's a bit of width to cover, so not much of that remesh got tied in at all. But this time, probably about 2 to 3 of the buckets will end up on that wall, and some of it will get tied in further up there. And then the big thing is getting a second coat on those sidewalls and that last extension of lath on the bridge there, because once I get inside and outside on the sidewalls, that makes 3 coats basically, or 3 layers, and one on top of the end makes 2. And then by tomorrow I'll be able to walk on that and then keep pushing it out. But first batch early in the day. End of the day Sunday, and got pretty good coverage on that whole side up until it starts arching. And the Molly Stark Tower got completely moved out of today. Huzzah! And then there's a bit more on the walls up there, but I'll show you later. That's it for today. Alright, so I've got the next piece of lath up there prepped. And we're passing the halfway mark. And we're getting good coverage on the left side, and then on that kind of metal flattening thing over there, I'll show you later. But prep's done. And I got my first 2 buckets ready to go. And time to mortar. So what I'm doing here is bending a cattle panel lengthwise by using this pipe bender and doing a bend on every single junction of the thing. So there's like 24, and then I've just gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 24. So I've done like 120 something, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more. I'm basically halfway through. And then I'm gonna make that to be like a tower on top of the column. We'll see how it goes. So after bending all the joints, it looks like that. It's such a thick wire that it's still very difficult to try to get into a cylinder. So that's one of the downfalls of working with the cattle panels, is that it's like harder to shape for sure. But I'm getting closer, and now I'm going to try to do it without bending, but just doing it all by hand, just kind of rolling it and see if I can get it into a column. So I used 3 ratchets to get it overlapping at least 6 inches, and then use this hog tie thing to pretty much everywhere. I had to double shot it, but it's just one line down where they're all hog tied like that. And I'm gonna see if I can get it up there, see what happens. So that's what it looks like with the column up there, with the idea being there will be a wind turbine at the top, but I'll have to do quite a bit of stabilization to make sure that that will work alright. But I think I can accomplish that. And then I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it, because, well, I just don't quite know. I don't think it'll be solid concrete for sure, but maybe the first few feet will be, or something. I haven't quite figured that out yet. But I think it's good enough to mortar in. Here's the metal prep for the base of the column. Running 2 pieces of rebar through it, one at the bottom, one at that level. Some lath to wrap around it, and a pipe for some drainage and potential electrical. And I'm gonna get some mortar on it before the day's done. So with the half batch of mortar, that's what that looks like. It's actually kind of 2/3 of a batch of mortar, really. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna like fill that whole gap with concrete or what exactly I'm gonna do, but I got those pieces of rebar decently mortared in to start, and tried to do something back there. I didn't really know what, but good enough start. Oh, look at all these blueberries. Yummy. Tuesday morning, 7 a.m. and we're gonna get an early start getting the other half of that batch of mortar that I started yesterday onto the last extension of the arch, as well as onto the foundation for that tower there. And then it's supposed to rain around noon, and this should all be cured by then. And meanwhile, I'll be going to get more supplies. I'm all out of lath at this point. I'm gonna get some 2x4s and chicken food. But quick batch of mortar, or half batch of mortar. So by 7:30, I got some extra coverage on the side walls, getting that rebar tied in even better, and then a second coat on that last section of the walk. So tomorrow I'll be able to walk out on that and prep the next section once I get more lath. And then the rest of it just went over here, trying to get things to drain. I was originally thinking I was going to double coat that, but really what I got to do is get everything to drain all right down to there. So a lot of it just kind of plopped in right there, went pretty quick. And now on to do some errands. Average supply trip, got 600 pounds of chicken food, bunch of lumber, re-up the lath, groceries, just about $1,000, and should be good for the month. Well, a couple months for the chicken food. Should be good for the month for the metal. Probably need more lumber, and then make a bi-weekly trip for supplies, but that's good for the month for Williston for sure. So the temporary order that was kind of the subject of the last episode that led to the Trooper Tour, that was vacated, which means it was found to be lacking in a basis in fact. And therefore, I'm up in the Molly Stark Tower in this little balcony thing. And we can see how close this is now. I could probably like run and jump and get on there if I really wanted to, but it seems dangerous. Plus there's a rebar to impale me right there. So basically what I want to do today, I'm cleaning the Molly Stark Tower, but what I also want to do is get this horizontal remesh from right here to go there, and then it's going to have one bend where it's going to go over this piece of rebar, and then it's going to have one bend there to go that direction, and then that level will set the level. Just have to level that, and then that'll make the crenellation pattern, like the top of the left wall will be set from here, and then I can go from there. Yesterday, I got, or the day before maybe, yesterday was basically all hearings and rain, but we really needed the rain, and glad the hearings went well, or my hearing went well. So I got lath, one piece of lath going this way, which almost connects all the way to there, so I just need to prep one more little piece, and then when I do a batch of mortar, I should be able to connect all the way from here up to there. So we're getting very close to some conjoining completion kind of stages. And then I'll get one more cattle panel right here to be like the decking and connect that to the rebar going that way. And pretty soon I'll be able to take those tires out, which are kind of weighting that down and just bending the shape of the metal. So that is the update for now, and I'll see what I can accomplish today after cleaning the Molly Stark tower here. Another idea, which I'm just going to float out there, especially for someone named, I think, Mitzi or something. I'm thinking of doing an epoxy floor for this whole floor, basically kind of out to there-ish of the Molly Stark tower. So it's like rough concrete, so I think epoxy would be a perfect kind of finish, and I would add some kind of depth to it and make it a really cool kind of design. But I haven't done something that big, and I could probably use some help. And there's one person who was thinking about volunteering to learn some Ferrocement, and I think they've got experience with epoxy stuff, and I've only got a little bit, and maybe they could help me with that too. But anyways, that's just a random addition, so that's it for now. Alright, so I prepped the last lath section up there, so it should be able to connect all the way from the Molly Stark tower to the extended arch thing, and mortar's mixing. So I'm gonna get up there. I put a whole bunch of fiber, the last one I had basalt fiber, and a bunch of fiberglass fiber, so it'll be extra thick. Where the diamonds are going vertically over here, maybe you can't quite see it, but the mortar has more trouble sticking to the vertical diamonds where it's steep, and so the more fiber the better for that. We'll see how that goes. I did it! Full coverage. Connecting that column over to the Molly Stark tower. Of course, right now it's all liquid, so it's just the sagging weight, but as it dries, they will be structurally connected. The clouds are threatening rain. Hopefully they don't follow through on their threats and spare us, or spare this so it doesn't get washed out. But that is, in a way, the fruition of like a, not quite a year's long vision, but a whole lot of work and vision before that. Still got to deal with this little tower spire thing and the wall on the far side. Oh no, I just got to range up. I might have to put plastic up. Check it out, I got it up here. I just had to carry it up that incredibly steep ladder and then transfer from the ladder to that very sketchy situation there at the top of a ladder while carrying a bent panel. It was dangerous, but there it is. So by the end of the day on Thursday, I removed some forms on the side of that thing so you can kind of see the outline of those two windows. And got that panel up there for the sidewall all the way up to the door. And that arch will be solid by tomorrow, and then I can look at doing the right half of it basically, as well as connecting to the flat section coming off of the door that kind of like juts out right now, right up there. So lots of progress today, and tomorrow will be a lot more progress. So I've got some more prep done up there, like on that flat area, and then I bent like the side walls of the cattle panel closest to the camera, and then on that little hut thing over there on the outside, we've got some prep done. So you can see it's not symmetrical. I kind of realized a while ago it wasn't going to be symmetrical, and there's a reason for that, and it's kind of accentuated right now because of the far side, right basically left of the ladder. The far side isn't done, so it kind of accentuates the unsymmetricalness of it. But there's a reason structurally why it's all like that, because the more of the weight is on the right than is on the left. And so the shape is different, and how it's all engineered is different. And It's also just kind of like the different angles make it look different, but it is definitely like inconsistent. But it achieves the utility, and at some point it could get some kind of finish, like a arch on the inside of the arch to kind of like make it a perfect arch. But I think the crenellations on top will help to make it look a bit more regular, and then I think it also looks different from the other side. But anyways, on to mortar. So it's Friday afternoon, and I have prepped for batch number 2. First batch got on the arch and on the inside of the arch, and second batch is gonna get on a good amount of this flat stuff here, which I just prepped, so I'll get coverage on all of that, or as much of it as I can without disturbing that little thing I made there. And then might get some more on that tower base over there to prep that for concrete, perhaps later today, we'll see. On to a batch of mortar. Here's what it looks like from this side. And then up here, got a good extension off of this original one to both sides, and getting pretty close to connecting this deck level here. If weather is good, perhaps tomorrow. It's kind of just reaching out over there, and that one's kind of reaching forward here, and just can't put too much weight on it yet. Unfortunately, this one piece of rebar here, I didn't put the right bend in it, and it's pushing this wall off of level because that rebar, you can see there, needs a bend. But I can't get out there to bend it, and so it's just disrupting my ability to make progress over here on the sidewall. I'm gonna see if I can solve that somehow. Alright, so that's it for this week. Getting this tower anchored in over here. I'm using this to like go around the drain down there so that water and potentially electrical could go through there. And then the idea is to pour concrete around it and use that as a form, but it's kind of squishy, so I don't know how well it'll work. But the deck, the arch is complete, and the deck is now about a foot to 2 feet apart up there as far as connecting. Tomorrow, well, I don't know if I'll walk on it tomorrow, but if the weather's good tomorrow, I should be able to finish connecting that deck, and the arch below is now fully connected. That's all good. So structurally, I should be able to walk out to at least there. Probably like now, but for sure tomorrow. Better tomorrow than now. So, good progress this week. And thanks for tuning in. And see you next week.